Let's return to our top story that's already creating waves. Remember, the Minister for External Affairs, S.M. Krishna, has said he's ordering a Supreme Court inquiry into a CNN-IBN special report that today has suggested that Hajj quotas were manipulated in favor of one agency from Kerala. And links are being drawn to the then Minister of State for External Affairs, E. Ahmed, of the Muslim League from Kerala. He's still a minister in the Manmohan Singh government. Were there multi-crore allocations in Hajj quotas? Joining us now, the Minister of State for External Affairs, Shashi Tharoor, also from Kerala. Mr. Tharoor, you've seen our story that we've broken this evening. It's very clear that there are discrepancies in the allocation of the Hajj quota. Would you accept that coming from the state of Kerala?
Now look, we are obviously looking at a situation in which there have been a number of established practices over the years which are being questioned. And we are conscious that the Hajj is an important issue for a number of our citizens who look forward to this every year. It's got to be done correctly and properly. Now, the question of discrepancies, there are various ways in which this can be looked at, and there are some real issues, for example, that the bulk of private tour operators at one point happened to be based in Bombay and was no relation to the number of Muslims in Maharashtra. People had to go from elsewhere to use these operators, and similar unevenness has happened. But we are looking at this very carefully. We believe the entire Hajj system needs a thorough overhaul. And both the External Affairs Minister and I are determined that though we have come into office too late to do much about this year's arrangements, that we will take very, very serious action before next year's Hajj.
That's right, Mr. Tharoor, but the External Affairs Minister, when we spoke to him a couple of hours ago, he did say that a retired Supreme Court judge is now going to look into this matter. There'll be a new system of Hajj allocation. But the problem is that the finger's already pointing in a sense directly to your predecessor's office and to a certain agency that comes from Kerala, Al-Hind.
Look, I mean, I can't really comment on my predecessor's work. There are decisions that are made. The ministry as a whole is responsible for decisions made in the ministry. But I will say that as far as the specific appointment of a Supreme Court justice is concerned, a retired Supreme Court justice, this has been done, and he has actually approved the approach that we were taking this year. Questions of further details, I'm not sure how much time we have, because the Hajj not only is looming, but this year the Saudi Arabian government has insisted on every Haji coming with a passport. And so applications have to be that much earlier because passports have to be issued and visas have to be obtained. And so for us to come in as a government at this stage and try and upend an entire system, which has already been functioning for some time, is a bit difficult. I'm not suggesting that we are fully satisfied with the existing arrangements. We are certainly determined that reform is necessary and must be conducted. But we don't want to pretend it can be done in the kind of calendar that the annual Hajj cycle requires. So we believe that there is a lot to be done between now and next year.
So but thousands and thousands of people are going to take the Hajj this year. You're from Kerala, your predecessor, who's now in the line of fire, also from Kerala. How are you going to rectify this impression that this entire Hajj quota has been manipulated in favor of Kerala? What are you specifically going to do, sir, now?
It would not be proper for me to comment on a decision that the External Affairs Minister may or may not take. I will say that we are determined to do our best to ensure that no one going for what is, after all, a religious pilgrimage should in any way have reason to feel cheated, thwarted, or discriminated against by the practices and procedures that are authorized by this ministry.
You know, when allegations like this come forward, Mr. Tharoor, it's as you said, a holy pilgrimage, and that shakes the faith. But as our report on CNN-IBN has just showed, that the entire Hajj procedure is extremely complex, extremely confusing. Some states get more quota, some states get less. Doesn't that really defeat the purpose in a sense?
Well, I try to be as fair as possible, certainly in my own work. And I can say that if there has been any skewing in the past, we will certainly look at that. The principles used are very much proportional. That is that you look at the population of Muslims in a state in allocating the quota under the so-called qurra. We have introduced a computerized lottery system, so there can be no question about those. And thereafter, when it comes to the additional places, it's often a reflection of the volume of applications for the Hajj. It may be true that more Keralite Muslims are applying in relation to their total numbers than Muslims, for example, from UP or MP, who may be larger in absolute numbers, but fewer of whom may be applying for the Hajj. We have to look at not only the proportion of population, but the proportion of applicants. All of this being said, fairness is extremely important to us, and we will do our very best to ensure that decisions are fair and transparent.
Well, Mr. Tharoor, we're going to have to take your word for it for now, but we're going to test this. This is a story that we'll stay with. It's already creating reverberations, we can tell you, in your home state of Kerala, where there are questions now that are being raised as to whether ministerial intervention was involved in this quota manipulation.